Beginning. The invitation to the palace. I never thought I'd be invited to the palace of an alien queen. It wasn't a diplomatic courtesy or a ceremonial tradition. At least, not exactly. Somehow, through a mix of chance, curiosity, and bureaucratic error, I had been sent as a human observer to Celestara Prime, a world ruled by Queen Lyriss, whose intelligence and beauty were the stuff of galactic legend. The palace itself was breathtaking. Towering spires of translucent crystal reflected the twin suns, and gardens floated in midair, connected by invisible energy fields. As I stepped inside, my human senses struggled to keep up with the sheer scale and elegance of the architecture. Alien courtiers moved gracefully around me, their skin glowing faintly, their gestures precise and deliberate. And then she appeared. Queen Lyriss descended the grand staircase, her presence commanding every eye. Her emerald eyes swept across the hall, and when they landed on me, I felt as if a gravitational pull had tugged at my very chest. I knew instantly that I had been caught staring. Not just a glance, but the kind of look that reveals curiosity, admiration, and something more primal. The question that changed everything. The day's events passed in a blur of introductions, ceremonies, and polite conversation. I tried my best to blend in, but every now and then, my gaze wandered to her, unbidden. I didn't even notice how obvious it had become, until she asked me a question in front of the inner circle. "What do you like most, human?" she asked, her voice smooth and melodic, carrying through the chamber with effortless authority. All the other humans I had seen in her presence would have fumbled. They would have given answers about intelligence, bravery, or diplomacy. But in that instant, a thought flashed unbidden through my mind, and before I could censor it, the words escaped my mouth. "Your butt," I said. The hall went silent. A few of the courtiers gasped. Some of the alien dignitaries' eyes widened, and one or two discreetly laughed behind their hands. Queen Lyriss froze. Her gaze narrowed and then, slowly, a smile curved across her lips. The Queen's reaction. She didn't scold me. She didn't demand an explanation. Instead, she took a step closer, her eyes gleaming with a mix of amusement and intrigue. "You, what?" she said, her tone a mixture of disbelief and command. I stammered, realizing the audacity of what I had just said. "I meant, well, you're beautiful, in ways that She tilted her head, letting out a soft laugh that resonated like music. "I've seen many humans, but you are bold." The audacity I thought would be my undoing became, surprisingly, my leverage. For the first time I saw her not just as a queen, but as a being capable of humor, vulnerability, and even curiosity. "Do you always speak so candidly?" she asked. "Only when I'm honest," I replied, voice shaking slightly but steadying as I met her gaze. Her smirk widened, and I felt an unexpected surge of pride. Somehow, saying the most human and arguably reckless thing I could think of had caught her attention in a way nothing else could. The test of courage and honesty. Over the next few days, I was summoned repeatedly to her private chambers. What began as a test of decorum quickly evolved into something far more personal. She asked me questions about my world, my beliefs, my values, and yes, occasionally my tastes. "You are human," she said one night as we walked through the floating gardens. "Your species is blunt, reckless, and yet, there is a sincerity I have not seen in centuries." "I try to be honest," I admitted, "even when it's risky." Her eyes glimmered with amusement. "Risky? You have no idea." I had expected challenges, trials, or even subtle manipulations to test my character. But what I hadn't anticipated was the level of trust she offered. Slowly, through conversations, walks in the gardens, and shared meals under twin moons, a bond formed between us. Not a conventional bond dictated by protocol or duty, but one rooted in candid honesty and mutual intrigue. Bonding through vulnerability. One evening, as the palace lights shimmered in the sky like distant stars, she asked a question that stopped me in my tracks. Do you like me because of my status, my power, or for me? Paused, choosing my words carefully. I like you because you are real. Because you are Lyriss, not just a queen. Her reaction was subtle but unmistakable. The tension in her shoulders eased, and her eyes softened. Few humans dare to speak with such clarity. Most are blinded by fear or ambition. I'm not most humans, I said. You are something else entirely, she replied, a quiet smile curving her lips. That night, I realized the audacity of my original comment, the one that could have destroyed my reputation, had become the bridge between us. Honesty, even when reckless, had its rewards. Ending. A new connection forged. The culmination came during a ceremonial feast attended by dignitaries from across the galaxy. Every eye in the hall was upon us, yet she turned to me and spoke directly. Human, she said, her voice carrying effortlessly through the chamber. You have surprised me. You have challenged my expectations, broken decorum, and yet, I am intrigued. I find your honesty refreshing. I bowed my head slightly, unsure of what to say. I thank you, Your Majesty. She took my hand, holding it briefly. Boldness is rare. Honesty is rarer still. You have both, and for that, I will remember you. The court murmured in astonishment, but all I felt was the gravity of the moment. A connection had been forged, not through ceremony, status, or obligation, but through the simple human act of speaking my mind. From that day forward, I was no longer just a human observer in her court. I was someone who had dared to be candid, to reveal my thoughts, and in doing so, had gained her attention, respect, and a bond that transcended species and rank. The alien queen had never seen it coming, but neither had I. And yet, in the chaos of honesty, trust, and boldness, we had found something far more valuable than ceremony. A genuine connection.